Welcome to the Pink Lady Posse podcast, where women over 50 take a fresh look at living, toss out tired stereotypes, and say a big heck yes to what's next. I'm your host, Sandy Parker, and around here, we challenge limitations, rewrite the story on aging, and reclaim our power, pleasure, and purpose. Why? Our next years are not about a decline. They are our big reveal. So I'm Sandy Parker Martinez with the Pink Lady Posse, and I'm here with Melinda Chapman, who is a money and life strategist. And I'm interested in her being here because I think women need to make money.
I
And
agree.
I'm putting more money in the services to make money than I'm making money. And we were having this juicy conversation. So I'm like, let's just go. So, Melinda, thank you for being here. Tell me what you're seeing about women and money.
Hi, Sandy. Thank you for having me. As I was sharing a little bit earlier, a lot of the women that I've been talking to this year are putting more money into what they are trying to grow a business than what they're actually making. I'm seeing women who are going into debt, who are sacrificing. We're all working to have more time, more money, more ability to do the things that we want to do for our family. And instead, they're sacrificing every bit of that. And they're sacrificing their personal income to actually grow a business.
I know, I think I'm on the hobby edge.
It and so we sometimes we have to start doing, in the last 2 or 3 months, I've really been talking to nearly everyone I talk to about trimming the fat. We're right here in this time of year where it's time to take a good close look at what's serving you, what you're spending money on, and what is really making a difference, and what it is you just feel pressure that you need it or you want it. And
Mhm.
so just taking a step back and looking at, what are the numbers and what do I really need? Is my business really at this point where I need this service? Or is this just something that was a shiny object for me and I want it?
Well, I know we talked about women over 50. They go through a lot of
Mhm.
transitions: empty nesting, caregiving, retirement, getting a sidekick, selling product. I mean, we do a lot of different things. So I was in a conversation with a really close friend of mine, and she said, well, you started the Pink Lady Posse, you gave people a place to connect, you're doing the podcast, you're making a real difference. And I said, I want to make money. Like, I'm using my
Yes.
social security to pay for services so that I can build an income. Yes, I want to make a difference, right? So I just got to do a TEDx talk, which is amazing.
Sweet.
And I met you on the Zoom with Jenna, and she said, why are you a member of this if you're not making money? And I'm like, well, I don't have an offer. And she goes, why are you doing anything if you don't make an offer? I'm like, well, because I want to have an impact, in the world, which is great. But
Mhm.
really, I want to make money.
I think a lot of us, me included, we get to our 50s and we start looking around with different eyes. Like, we found time that we didn't have before. We've been raising kids, we've been, nurturing everybody else around us. And we suddenly find some time and we start looking at circumstances and situations. And I know for me, I want to be the person that talks about money that 25, 35, 45, 55-year-old me still needs. Like, I still need somebody to make me stop and check. I say that there are very, very few people in this world who can actually challenge me, but I need somebody in my life that can make me stop and go, do I really need this? Is it serving me? Or am I just doing it because I think it's the right thing to do right now?
Mhm.
And that's not necessarily true, but definitely 25, 35, 45-year-old me, I can speak to her and I could help her make her life easier if she can just catch on to You don't have to be and do what you think everybody else is doing right now.
Mhm.
And we have to apply that even in our business. Just because somebody else has, the highest level paid of Zoom and the highest level paid of Calendly and all the bells and whistles to everything, we can put it together and it fit our budget, because none of us start out with $100,000 budget for our business. We're
Right.
starting out just putting pieces together, and we've got this dream and determination to make a difference in somebody else's life. That should not be costing you thousands of dollars a month.
And it's, this is a rant. Okay, let me just preface by saying that
I love a good
I'm
rant.
I'm on Facebook, and every other message is you can make $10,000 a month doing this. Just do this one thing, and oh, it costs $400 a month, and do this one thing. And I'm like, I'm one thing out. I'm like, it looks easy on the Facebook feed, but it is not. That's not the way life really is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess I got two questions going. One is, can women really make money? Are we just in a pipe dream? And who do we know that's making money, and how are they doing it so that hope can be real, not just germinated in some Facebook feed? So those are the two questions. Can women make money, and how are they doing it?
So, yes, women can make money, but what they've got to do is not spend more than they make.
That's not any fun.
No, it's not, is it? I actually just wrote my email last night that's going out tomorrow about this very thing. And so I'm going to step you back just a minute. My daughter is 24, and almost a decade ago, I remember I'd come out of my PA's office, my medical provider. I'd come out of there and we got in the vehicle, and she turned and looked at me with tears streaming down her face. And she says, "Mom, I know what I want to do." And I said, "What?" And she said, "I want to be a PA." And I totally threw me for a loop. And I don't think either one of us realized the commitment going into that. But she spent years working in the medical field even before she got into PA school. So, in the midst of COVID, she went into the hospital, working in the hospital. She bagged bodies at 19 years old. I mean, she has held the hand of people who were dying, whose family couldn't get in the hospital to see them as they were dying. She went through college. She went through her 4-year degree. She was the speaker that introduced the commencement speaker at her graduation. She graduated with honors. She's had a deep, deep commitment. She's gone through PA school, which is 2.5 years. It was grueling. We spent more nights, more days crying, praying, and just trying to stay with it, stay the course. And she graduates on Saturday. Now, let me tell you about this little girl. She is her mother's daughter. She loves to shop. She loves nice things. She can walk in a store and pick out the most expensive thing in there without trying, because she just naturally gravitates to it. She loves a good coffee. She loves going out to eat. All of those things have been put on the shelf over the last 6.5 years while she's been dedicated to her goal. So she's put her blinders on. She's not made money outside of what time she worked in the hospital and in a medical office during her college years at the university. But she put everything on hold. She saved all of her money from working so that it could be applied towards PA school. That was dedication and determination to get to a goal. And I think I'm going to pull that back, because this is my daughter. I am a natural spender. This is she is the refined blueprint of me. She has a discipline that I did not have at her age. Like, I didn't even know to have at her age. But we have good intentions to help people, just like she has good intentions to help people in the healthcare system, in a not a modern healthcare system, let me put it that way. She'll be a little bit of a push, let me push the line and figure out how I can help you best. But we all have that kind of passion. But what happens to us is we get online, we see this next new thing, and it's going to get us there. And so we spend money at it, and we're actually hindering ourselves because we put ourselves in this place where we're stressed because we just spent more money than what we actually have coming in, than what's actually in the bank account. And so now we're stressed and we're pushing, and that energy shows up. It shows up in everything that we're doing. And so we're kind of, we put ourselves in this box. Yes, we've got to jump out there. Yes, we've got to do the work. Like nobody's going to come and just suddenly find you. Think of, I'm here in Northeast Tennessee, and I don't know if you've seen Leanne Morgan.
Mm-mm.
Nope. So she's done a Netflix, she's a comedian, and she's done a Netflix series or a movie. I'm not sure exactly what they call it, but she's been on several different shows, several different podcasts. And she's been everywhere. And I guess for Northeast Tennessee area, we're going to all see Leanne everywhere. But she lives in Knoxville. And someone was asking her recently, said, "You're an overnight success." And she said, "I've been doing this for 25 years." So we want, I talk about, we grew up, a lot of us that are in our 50s, we grew up with Burger King saying, "Have it your way." Our children have grown up with Chick-fil-A saying, "It's my pleasure." And so now we live in this culture where we want everything to happen right now. We don't want it. We don't want to take the time to put it in the crock pot and let it slowly cook. We want it in the instant
Ah.
pot and have it done right now.
Well, it's interesting that you said that about being challenged because I'm in a small town. I wake up and here I am in my computer. There's no one here saying, "Do you really need to create an AI twin? Do you really need to do that 3-day seminar to learn blah, 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 blah?" I'm educated out the wazoo, but I'm not financially profitable out the wazoo.
Yeah, I meet very few women online who actually are financially profitable,
So,
period.
so I serve women 50 plus, and I want to bring the information we need to the forefront so we can, one, stop criticizing ourselves for what we're not, and find out that we're not the only one that's not making $10,000 a month.
That's right. And then we want to turn that around because I want to stop the 70% that's not making money.
Mhm.
I want to stop what is the norm or what the national average. If you listen to and do some research, anywhere from 65 to 78% of Americans are in debt. And a good portion of those, like a high percentage, don't have $1,000 emergency fund. And then there's, some of them don't even have a $400 emergency fund. I do the work I do because I want to challenge that. I want to challenge the normal, the status quo, and help people get that $1,000 emergency fund, start getting that debt paid off. So, in the same space as all of these women that are in your pink posse, I want them to stop just throwing money at it and get very laser focused on what their goal is and stop throwing all the money at all the things, but line up into that one thing. I've done that just this year. Like I was trying to do LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook. And then I got to going back and listening to some of the people that we've listened to teach about online. And they say, start out focused, just laser focused on one platform. You can grow to the others, but focus on one platform. So over the last 3 months or so, I've gotten really focused on one platform. And so it has made me get more consistent in what I'm doing. And so I'm not trying to, run around. I like to use the term chasing 40 cats in a 40-acre field. I'm not. And so whenever we're doing that, we're not making money if we're trying to chase everything. We're throwing money that we don't have to applications that we don't even have the time for because we're not making the money.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I realize this is going to sound a little audacious, but I realize I am the special sauce.
You are.
And there's only so much of me to go around. So we have a friend in common, and she said, "Why are you paying this? You don't have an offer. You have no way for people to pay you money." And I'm like, "Well, but if I got organized and, she goes, "Nope, you have to have an offer. You have to have three offers, and you have to know what they are, and you know what the people are going to get, and you know what it costs, and you be able to say this, or that." Speaking of drilling down and getting focused.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm a pastor's wife by marriage. I didn't wish my whole life to be a pastor's wife.
I'm a pastor's
But
daughter-in-law, if that helps
no,
any.
you are not.
I am.
So we were both widows. And then when we married, I inherited that role. And it suits me to a T from the standpoint of I want to help everybody. Women don't really need help. They need encouragement,
Mm-hmm.
strategies, challenges,
Mm-hmm.
accountability. They need a sidekick that says, "Really? Are you sure? Let's look."
Mm-hmm.
But when you're by yourself and you're starting out with some idea to help the world, the only place I even see anybody offering that is on Facebook feed going, "If you'll just saddle up with me and pay me $2,000, you'll get, $1 million." And I'm like, "That sounds good. Let's do that."
So, you know, I do see that a lot. And someone that I admire in the online space is teaches email. And that's Liz Wilcox.
You were
And
gonna say, I just met her.
right, so I've followed Liz for a good number of years now. I've been in her program for a good number of years. She sells email. She teaches email, and it's $9 a month. And it supports her family, but it also supports two other families for a product that is $9 a month. And she gives so much value. She gives so much to her people. She's an incredible person. But I was just trying to think of some people that sell some low ticket offers but Liz comes top of mind. Like, you kind of think, how could anybody make money on $9 a month? And
Mhm.
then, she just went through her seasonal offer of a annual membership, and you can pay and get 2 months free if you do it that way. Like, you're getting 2 months free if you pay in full for annual membership. And I'm like, how in the world could anybody make that? But Liz has just gotten really, and that's her thing, is email. That's it. She's really good at email, and she hones in. Now, she has some other things that she'll teach throughout the year, but when her name comes up in conversation, everybody's thinking email. She makes email simple. And that's kind of like Sandy. And we kind of started this conversation that we didn't necessarily know a lot about each other,
Mhm.
but I teach money, and so my goal is that when my name comes up, when somebody, and here locally, I've done a good job at that. I've not done it as well online because I really didn't focus online until the last couple of years. I was more, I worked with one-on-one clients mostly, and I didn't focus on working online. But here locally, if somebody mentions money management or learning how to manage money, I've become kind of the go-to person. Like, they're going to say, "Hey, you need to talk to Melinda." But I want to be that person online as well. I want to make money simple. I want to make it easy, and I want to help you realize, is this what I really need right now? Like, I'm not saying don't ever have it. I am not somebody who says you have to be deprived and never have that thing that you want. But right now, is it what you need? And
Well,
that's
and
the filter.
the bigger goal is if I were making enough money where Steve could retire, we could move where his son and grandsons are and he could build a church, which is his dream. So,
Mhm.
right now I'm in a small town where there's no jobs. But what I
Yeah.
want to do, so I was thinking to myself, what do I want to be known for? I want to be known for bold living after 50.
Oh.
I'm an action babe. I
Hmm.
take action. And I hear so many people talking about the excuses of age that it just doesn't fly with me, right? I'm going to be 70 in April and I've got the best life ever. And I've been through struggles, but I'd like to be known as, and what Jenna gave me was come alive again, right? For
Yes.
women who have gone through shifts and they need little catalyst. So we just started Think Pink, which is a 4 week, micro course with support and encouragement. It's $47 a month. And you get surrounded by people who are going to love you and care about you. And then I'm going to bring in the tools on how to come alive again and have a
Yes.
great, bold life after 50.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thanks for the challenge of knowing what I would stand for. In my TEDx talk that I just did was the second half of life can be your big reveal instead of a long, slow decline.
Mm.
And one of the sentences in there that I tripped over as I was writing it was, it hit me. I had gone backstage in a life I used to star in. I had been somebody,
This is okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had
Hmm.
been proud. I had been out there doing my thing, and now I'm just sort
Yeah.
of like diminished, and that's
Hmm.
just not going to work for me. Not going to work for me.
I get that, Sandy. So my husband and I did not have our daughter until we'd been married 11 years. We were told we wouldn't have children. And so I'd built a career. I worked in corporate finance. I loved what I was doing. And, I know it's kind of boring sitting in the office and doing numbers all day and writing checks. I know it's a little boring for a lot of people, but I just enjoyed it. And I came home when my daughter was born. It made more sense for me to come home. So there was a 50% cut in our pay,
Mm-mm-mm.
and we made it work. By God's grace, he got another job that pretty much replaced our income. It slowly, incrementally replaced our income. And then I kicked and screamed and became a homeschool mom. I was determined I was not going to be a homeschool mom, but we homeschooled our kids from K4 through 12. But I was determined, up until about 3 months before she started kindergarten or K4. Oh, we had done K4 at home. I wanted to have her ready for preschool or for kindergarten. About 3 months before she started kindergarten, I started looking at homeschooling. The reason I did it is I realized that she wasn't going to have time with her daddy if I didn't because of his schedule. She wouldn't see him very much throughout the month. I get really, engrossed in homeschooling my kids, taking care of my home, all those things. Like I was the crunchy mom who gardened and put away all the food and ground done the grain, the whole thing.
You go, girl.
And then I have a friend call me up in 2018 before my daughter graduated high school in 2019. And she said, and this friend had raised 5 kids and they were all gone. And she said, you need to do something that feels you, that makes you happy, and that takes care of this time that you've been just feeling into your kids and to your family. So a lot of times now I talk to women and I try to help them understand we all live in seasons. And
Mhm.
so, I'm not buying the clothes, the hundreds of dollars of clothes and shoes every year that I did when I was in corporate because I had to dress for corporate. And that was a hard shift for me. It took me years to not feel like I still needed to buy those high end, have a closet full of clothes, cram full of clothes. And then homeschooling and doing the homesteading kind of thing. Like we only had 2 acres, but we were pretty much self sufficient. Well, that season left. As my kids got into high school, we moved houses. That season left. And now, of course, I'm in a different season as I have college kids, which one will graduate on Saturday, and she's newly engaged. So my season is
Ah,
about to shift again. So, we're constantly in this wave of season shifting. So, what I needed back in the corporate days doesn't serve me anymore. What I needed in my homeschooling days and my homesteading days doesn't serve me anymore. So, finding what makes me happy and what serves me and my family and the people I care about right now is
mhm.
what's important.
Well, I can relate to that because I was in the magazine business, and one of my all-time favorite, and I'm from Georgia originally.
Okay.
So one of my favorite magazines of all time was Southern Living Magazine, and I was working for Southern Living Magazine. And I had a heart to heart with myself, and it was like, you love Living Magazine, but Southern Living Magazine really doesn't love you back. Like, if you want to have a family, you're going to have to get off the road and give up this delicious job. And it was a bold choice that matched the life I wanted. Because it's so easy to live sleepwalking and just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And when the season shifts, new choices have to be made. Now
Yeah.
I'm married, I moved to Bowie, and now I'm in Blooming Grove, and I'm a pastor's wife in a very small town with unstable internet. Right? And I'm clearer now than I've ever been on my role, my purpose, my desire, my joy, my fun. And if I look back, it's been who I've been all along, is making bold choices to create the life I want, not just inherit what's automatic.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to know you, first of all, because we're just really getting to know one another. Do you have a first and second step for people who might be hearing this and saying, oh boy, they're talking about me, they're talking about me? What would you say to, a first step, do this, and a second step, do that?
So this fall, I've started teaching a simple money reset. And I actually just did some webinars this week that kind of walks you through just looking and figuring out how much money do you have coming in and being honest about that. It's not about being guilty or really down on yourself. Just bring the honest numbers to the table. How much money do you have coming in? If it's your personal or if it's your online business, what do you have coming in? And then looking at what is non-negotiable. So, like, we're talking in terms of an online business, you're probably going to have Zoom. You're going to have some type of calendar to schedule you by. Depending on your business, you might have to have maybe a website. Facebook doesn't cost you anything. Maybe you're not ready for Facebook ads. If you're throwing a lot of money into Facebook ads, but you don't have the audience for Facebook ads, you don't have enough people, and you're not regularly showing up on Facebook, well, we might go back and look at that. Is that really what's working for you right now? We really want to look at what's non-negotiable in your business. What is it that's going to take to run that business? And then get really serious with yourself and look at those transactions and what do I not need to spend money on right now? What is negotiable? And I can let that go in this season. I can always go back and pick it up. They're
Right.
going to be there. And something that I've actually had to work on myself with is, oh my goodness, that's at such a good price. Like, that's at $79 and next week it's going to be $99 or $109. And if I don't get it right now, but if I'm not ready for it, it's not serving me any purpose.
That reminds me of going to TJ Maxx and something is only $99 instead of 149, and you go, do I really need it? Am I ever going to wear it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this get flat, get a reset, and
Reset.
then what would you say is the second step?
Laying those numbers out, being honest with yourself, and then starting to make those cuts, trim that fat. You're probably not going to be able to go back and get a refund on something that you bought 2 months ago. But
Mm-mm.
at the same time, you got to be honest with yourself and say, okay, no more. We're,
So
we're not doing this right now.
If I would have done that, I would have saved a lot of money, but I still wouldn't have had revenue. I had to get like willing to ask to be paid for something.
Right.
$47
Yes.
isn't the end of the world. And if I had 100 people pay me $4,700, that's $4,700. Or if I have 10 people paying $97, it's not, I want the word to be like good for you, right? Like it's a start. It doesn't have to be $10,000 a month, although that's my goal, but it's realistic. It's
Right.
specific and it's realistic. So, and the other thing I find is women who are timid to be in sales, timid to make a phone call, timid to be have a big ask. Those are
Hmm.
all components of what we're teaching on Bow Living. And those are the cinder blocks in my pillars. Can you ask? Can you be unreasonable? Can you be bold? Can you say what you want? Those are skills that have to also go to play because just being realistic on your finances, it isn't going to generate revenue.
Nope. You're right.
And that's where Jenna's helping me. She said, stop all this stuff and start generating revenue, and then we'll make decisions on the other stuff. So that's where I met you.
So I would say too, Sandy, find your tribe. Find the women who are going to call you out whenever you're about to make a decision that's not serving you, like Jenna did, and also who's going to encourage you and who's going to, just lift you up and support you. I've got a friend here locally who is an HR consultant, and she had posted recently on LinkedIn about a law firm that they had set their boundaries. They had a client, a $20 million client, that said, we want to work with this specific lawyer. And that wasn't how their firm was set up. And they were working with the HR consultant, with my friend, and they had set the boundaries of how they were going to work with this client in this $20 million deal. The law firm went back, the owner, and was like, no, we're not doing this. This is not how we do business. And so she was just, she was explaining how that had all transpired. And I commented to her, the owner of the law office had you, because she knew that she had someone who had her back, who was willing to support her. And as women, if we know we have somebody who has our back, who's willing to just, kind of keep pushing into us, and that we can, collaborate with, that we can have someone who understands us, because a lot of times our family don't necessarily understand what we're doing in the online world. You know,
Right.
you need to schedule I need to schedule something, and they're looking at you like, what? Like, I need to send
I
another
know.
email. What?
I know.
So finding your women, and I think that's a lot where Pink Posse comes in, finding your women who understand your goal, your passion, understand what you're trying to create, but then don't let that also become a festive, well, we've all got to do what the Joneses over here and the Smiths over here did. you know don't let that same neighborhood effect happen in your online world. Well, this one over here has this platform, I need it too.
Well,
Maybe
it's
what
so
you're doing is
tempting.
working. Oh, it is.
It's like, well, the other thing I was just thinking when you said that is I join a lot of Facebook groups, right? When you said find your tribe. But I found my little tribe, my closer in tribe that I can tell the truth, where I don't have to look good. I'm not networking like, hey, look at me, I'm amazing. I might be amazing, but I also need my tribe that said, don't do that. It's not, So that's the whole thing about Think Pink is a closer in group that you can tell the truth to.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we do want to look good. I want to be known for bold living. You want to be known for money, but there's days when money isn't probably your favorite topic.
Oh, there's days that I have to make the same decisions that I challenge my clients to make,
Yeah.
you know?
So I think if I summed up what I've heard today, first of all, thank you so much for being a resource. When you have a webinar, let us know, and I'll see if we can offer that to some people so they can get the reset that they want. But what I'm hearing is be reasonable with yourself, be honest, be specific, and don't cast your vision in the sea of what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
I love the path. Know your path, stay on it, and find people to support you in it.
Yeah.
Any other closing comment that you would say as your words of wisdom from Melinda, the money and life strategist?
Stay true to your goal. Stay true to who you are. Find your people, and just surround yourself with the people that are going to support you, love on you, and help you grow. And a seed planted, it doesn't sprout up overnight. Almost nothing sprouts up overnight. I said I'd planted gardens and all the things, and you can tell the weak plants versus the strong plants. The weak plants will sprout up. They're puny. They're not going to grow. They grow pretty fast, actually. They'll grow up fast, but they've not gotten that strength in them. You
Mm-hmm.
can, and I won't go into all the gardening details, but you can pretty much, when you start pruning out, and that word, oh my goodness, I didn't even intentionally bring it up, but that is the fourth time that it's been brought up this week. Pruning sometimes can be the best thing in the world. You got a scraggly bush, you got a scraggly blueberry bush or raspberry bush or something like that, and it's not bringing forth the fruit that you want it to bring. Sometimes you got to go in and you got to prune that thing down. I know many times I've pruned plants, and my husband's like, "Are you going to kill that thing?" Because I've pruned it. And I'm like, no, but it's going to flourish. And so, come next spring, I'm going to have a beautiful bush, and I'm probably going to have a better bounty than I had the year before. So sometimes pruning the things in your life that's not serving you can give you better results than trying to gather all the things and trying to be in all the places.
Well, I just want to close by saying your daughter is so lucky to have you as a mother, and we have to celebrate our wins, and you have a huge win coming this weekend.
I do. I'm
That
very blessed to be her
graduation,
mama.
oh my gosh. And please pass along my you go girl. And we'll talk again soon. Thanks so much for being here with me. And I'll
Sandy,
tell you
thank you
when
for
it
having
closes,
me.
and then you can share the word.
Absolutely. I will send you the link to my webinar because
Okay.
I did record it. And so if anyone in your audience would like to see, I actually go through that webinar and work through with them how to do that. And so
Great.
I'll send you some information and we'll attach it to this podcast.
Okay. Good to see
All
you.
right.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Sandy. Take care.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Pink Lady Posse Podcast, where women go from what now to what's next. Come join us at pinkladyposse.com, where we share community, resources, and tools to support your next beautiful chapter. With love, light, and a little lipstick. See you next time.